The White House and the FDA are asking for the first changes in 20 years to include real things.
According to a new study that was done by Consumer Reports, a majority of packaged goods that are labeled natural are actually contain genetically modified ingredients, which makes it unclear, as to whether they are natural or not, because they grow, but they've been modified in a laboratory or whatever. Apparently, the FDA will allow companies to put the word natural on a product label as long as it says JKLOL on the back of the product.
People are realizing this is really scary stuff. I mean, just consider the name, right? Genetically modified organisms.
New findings about genetically modified foods. They're made from organisms by altering DNA.
Since genetically modified organisms, or GMOs, hit the food supply 20 years ago, a debate has raged on over the potentially harmful effects this could have on humans.
Genetically modified organisms.
Frankenfoods.
The corporations own this country. I mean, what?
The truth.
Yes.
Look, you got.
Okay.
So, what are GMOs?
Looking at the food that's in the grocery store, they say it's safe, everybody eat more. On second thought, I don't really know. It was made with those GMOs.
GMOs. In a world of newly expanding technology, we hear about them every day. On the radio, television, magazines, and newspapers. Often referred to as frankenfoods, gene-spliced, and crossbred. What exactly are these GMOs that are taking over the world by storm? GMOs, or genetically modified organisms, offer a revolutionary change to crops and produce. Through the process of altering genes and DNA, crops may be modified to resist insects and the effects of pesticides, consequently increasing yields. In 1982, the FDA approved the first genetically engineered consumer product, Genentech Humulin, a form of human insulin. Over the past 30 years, the amount of genetically engineered consumer products has increased dramatically around the world, with the United States taking the helm of the Green Revolution. Yet, GMOs remain the center of controversy. Biotech behemoth corporations have taken a lot of heat for the suspected negative effects of GMOs. Anti-GMO protests and the ongoing debate on labeling remain global topics of discussion. On the other end of the spectrum, pro-GMO activists remain adamant that GMO benefits are too great to ignore.
Genetically modified organisms have been scrutinized by their many downsides, but what some people don't know is that GMOs can have their benefits. One benefit from genetically modified organisms is economic stimulation. GMOs have stimulated the economy all over the world. Between the years of 1996 and 2009, the International Service for the Acquisition of Agribiotech Applications stated that biotech crops generated $65 billion in economic gains. Another benefit that has stemmed from GMOs is higher crop yield. Some of these genetically modified organisms are claimed to result in a higher crop yield than their non-GMO counterparts. Many of the biotech companies that produce GMOs see this to be very helpful with supplying food to countries such as Asia and Africa. Some biotech companies advocate that their higher yielding crops will compensate for the population jump that is predicted in the near future. Also, GMOs have shown leaps in genetic advancements. An example is golden rice, which is rice that is used to help people with vitamin A deficiencies because it contains higher levels of vitamin A/beta carotene as a result of its genetic modification.
Despite the numerous proposed benefits, GMOs are often highlighted in the media for their suspected negative effects. Genetically modified organisms are often associated with containing carcinogens or cancer-causing materials. In a French long-run research study on GMO safety, rats were subjected to the Roundup herbicide over the period of 2 years. The results were appalling. 50% of males and 70% of females died prematurely at the cause of adverse health effects such as tumors, liver congestion, and necrosis. Several environmental risks are also associated with GMOs. According to a recent study, GMO insecticides such as BT are responsible for the declining monarch butterfly and bee populations. A third-party organization, the Non-GMO Project, requires all food labeled as organic to have at least a 4-mile radius from beehives clear of GMO crop fields. Actions such as these are enacted to ensure that bees do not cross-pollinate with genetically modified crops. Furthermore, with GMOs, mistakes are bound to occur. The number of mutations within the DNA of genetically modified organisms can amount to thousands, with up to 5% of natural genes significantly changed. The accidental creation of super diseases resistant to antibiotics remain a worrisome possibility. Animal studies link genetically modified food to biological issues such as infertility, immune problems, and accelerated aging. Another concern is the introduction of allergens and toxins. In the United Kingdom, following the introduction of genetically modified soy allergies skyrocketed by nearly 50%.
In the world of GMOs, there are many biotechnology companies that produce genetically modified foods such as BASF, Syngenta, Bayer, and Delta Pine and Land Company. But one of the most prominent companies that produce GMOs is the Monsanto Company. Monsanto is a biotechnology company that is widely known for genetically modifying seeds that are able to resist the effects of the herbicide glyphosate. This herbicide resistance trait is called Roundup Ready. The Roundup Ready trait is patented by Monsanto along with 674 other genetic traits found in many seeds they have produced. The patenting rights for the Roundup Ready trait in GM seeds has been a topic of controversy. The abuse of this Roundup Ready trait has resulted in the company filing a total of 163 lawsuits against 400 farmers and 53 small farmer businesses. Monsanto has also brought controversy to the world of GMOs via their influence on politics involving genetically modified organisms. Many people believe that the lack of progress in the labeling debate for GMOs has been due to the immense amount of influence Monsanto has on political decisions. This is assumed by the public due to many ex-Monsanto employees that have been appointed to United States regulatory positions. People such as Margaret Miller, Linda Fisher, and Michael Taylor are great examples of individuals who spark controversy due to their involvement with Monsanto, then careers in the FDA and EPA.
The fight between supporters and opponents of genetically modified organisms has trickled down to a labeling debate. Recently, many states within the nation have debated potential laws that would require companies to label GMO foods and products. Vermont successfully became the first state to pass law that will require labeling in 2016. However, other states have not experienced the same success in passing GMO regulating legislation. California's Prop 37 failed following a $46 million anti-campaign. In comparison, currently 64 nations, including China, India, Japan, and countries within the European Union, mandate GMO labeling. Opponents of the labeling movements cite the economic damages that will result from the labeling of GMOs. In the case of Japan, labels on GMO-modified food products resulted in discounts of 60% as they were regarded as subpar in the eyes of consumers. Data such as this has resulted in the continuing battle between GMO and non-GMO activists.
As you might have seen, GMOs are a controversial topic due to their conflicting disadvantages and advantages. Because of that, it is hard to tell what the future might hold for GMOs. Hopefully, this presentation has informed you about GMOs and what they really are or aren't.